Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about the best position 5s in Dota right now. Specifically, the very hard supports, and honestly, you're going to see a bit of a theme between the top 5 supports. In fact, what's really impressive to me about the position 5 role and these heroes right now is the majority of them are topping the list in highest win rate heroes. For example, we'll be covering the second highest win rate hero on Dota Buff, the fourth highest win rate hero, and the 5th highest win rate hero. The other 2 heroes also have very impressive win rates. I also will be covering a couple of honorable mentions of heroes that don't necessarily have as good of win rates, are difficult to play heroes, so I don't really want to recommend them to everyone, and so on. So let's hop into it and talk about hard supports and the best 5 supports of the current patch. And now I want to tell you guys a little bit about Dota Plus from Overwolf. This is a free stats app you guys can download right now that's going to show you your stats for the last 3 months. So if you want to know your games played, your MMR, your win rate, your XPM, your GPM, all of these things you need to track to know how well you're doing and what you need to change to gain MMR, you can get for absolutely free. On top of that, the biggest reason why you need to download Dota Plus, at least for me, is the ban suggestions. Basically, it tells you what the enemy team is good at. It tells you their best heroes, what they've been winning with. You just ban it. You might be wondering why your good heroes, why your best heroes keep getting banned. It's because of Dota Plus. The enemy team is using it and banning out your best heroes. So go download Dota Plus right now, and I'll see you guys there. All right, coming in at number 5, this one is probably the most different from the rest, and that is Jakiro. But Jakiro has stood the test of time. No matter what seemingly seems to happen in the meta of Dota, when it comes to pub win rate, Jakiro really seems to just do well, and I think there's a couple reasons for this. Number 1, the hero is just a very good laner. In particular, in this current meta, what I really like about Jakiro, and what you guys should value in Jakiro, is his ability to counter out the unit heroes. Even if the unit heroes aren't necessarily that popular in your bracket, I honestly think he's just very good in lane against the general meta offlaners. That could be Razor, Viper. I think he's pretty good against Dawnbreaker, honestly, because of how tanky he is. And so honestly, I think this hero fits a pretty cool role in the meta. Also, I've been saying this for quite a long time now, but a big thing for me about Jakiro is the fact that he's basically the only hero, or one of the only heroes, that counters tower glyph. There's not a lot of heroes in Dota right now that have the capability to enable a creep wave, even a singular creep wave, not even necessarily a double wave, just a singular creep wave to stand against a glyph. And that's because liquid fire goes through the glyph. It slows the attack speed of the tower. And so when your team is winning the game and they're looking to group up, what's really great about Jakiro is when your idiot teammates are inevitably gonna dive a tier 2 tower and the enemy glyphs or a glyph comes out when you're pushing, your team won't just insta-die because the tower frankly fires at a really bad pace. So I always thought that was an interesting mechanic that really comes into play in pubs. And then finally, one thing that I think really players have gotten better at, that I recommend you get good at if you want to pick this hero, is the ability to just wave shove and clean up the waves. When Macro Pyre is on cooldown, it's good to slow down the pace of the game, work towards your level 8, level 9 maxed out Ice Path timing, and get towards either an Aether Lens or a Glimmer. I also just made a full-length Jakiro course on the Game League website, so if you're interested in that, I recommend you check it out. Alright, getting into the 4th best position 5 of the current patch, we have Chen. Now, Chen is the second high. This blows my mind. This genuinely blows my mind. Chen is the second highest win rate hero on Dota Buff right now, with a 55% win rate. Now, I don't know if that's bugged or something, because apparently, as of late, the hero's gone up 4% win rate. So maybe this is a bit jacked up, but I will say there's also a bunch of pro teams that value this hero, and I honestly think that the items that this hero wants to buy enable it better than the other 5s. So what do I mean by that? Why is this hero potentially good in pubs? Because of the items. Well, generally, heroes that are meta buy the meta items, and Chen is a great example of this. It's why Visage is actually, in my opinion, such a great pub hero, but he buys the meta items, the Wraith Pact, drums, shard, pipe if you need, even though pipe's not that meta, but you get the point. Wraith Pact and drums being the 2 big ones. So that's really key. Chen in particular is one of the most farm heavy supports in the game. If you want to farm, you can, because you have a ton of creeps. right? It's very easy to clear out waves. You can jungle. Most supports can't jungle. You can jungle efficiently on Chen. And so, yeah, you go from there. And then on top of that, a couple more things to consider about Chen is he's one of the only supports, in my opinion, that like generally buys headdress. You can do it on the majority of supports, but you can buy headdress level 1. And this is really nice because ever since salves have fallen out of favor, and this is going to be a major theme throughout this video, ever since salves have fallen out of favor, these heal supports have really come into the meta to enable these carries who still don't buy salves because you can't buy salves for them. I mean, you can, but they just don't do that much. They're quite horrible for the gold cost. They give so little. And so these heal supports have come into the meta, Chen being a big one. On top of that, I think Chen's been a pretty decent hero for a while, also largely because of his shard. If you don't know what Chen shard is, it allows him to control ancient creeps. And this is really important because honestly, the ancient creeps can be really overpowered when it comes to their ability to shove waves. The T-Rex one, or no, it's not a T-Rex. You guys are gonna make fun of me now. The dinosaur creep, whatever that thing's called, that has the slam ability. That one's really good at clearing waves. The dragon is insane. And so you just really can split the map extremely well. You buy mech, you buy drums, and you buy Wraith Pact. Getting to our third best hero, but quickly before I do that, I want to go over the honorable mentions of today's video. First off is Witch Doctor. I think this hero is honestly the future of Dota. Sitting at a 49% win rate, it doesn't really seem like the case, but I think it's because people don't skill his heal. I think his heal is one of the best abilities at level 1 in Dota. So skill the heal, take Maledict at 2 and 3. I recommend you pick it with some sort of Troll Warlord or Juggernaut or even Medusa or Sven, someone with a bit of a slow or a heavy kill ability when you hit level 3. And yeah, your ulti is only a 60-second cooldown, and Maledict got buffed at level 1, so I personally think this hero is undervalued and just misunderstood, leading to it having a bad win rate. To be fair, it's not good at buying the aura items, and so that's kind of a downside of this hero. Next up is Wyvern, one of the most popular supports of the recent major, for good reason. He's a hard counter to a lot of the meta. I think honestly it's just a well-rounded hero, always kind of has been, but ever since they buffed the Q, I think this hero is in the best place it's not ever been. You guys remember Release Wyvern? That was, I actually have no idea what Valve was thinking. When your ulti lasted full duration, you could do damage to any of the heroes in the curse. Like literally any of them. And the radius I think was bigger too. It was crazy, man. You could do damage to any of the heroes. It was so dumb. It was actually crazy. You just insta-kill everyone. Now, only Wyvern can do damage to the people who are cursed. You used to just be able to curse 4-second stun. Oh my god, it was so broken. It was honestly insane. Next up is Ench in terms of the honorable mentions. Don't think this hero's really in an incredible place right now compared to what she was a couple patches ago, but still a good hero. I think taking the heal at level 1 is kind of OP. Impetus still does a ton of damage in the mid to late game. You know, you still can take the towers with the troll creep, and honestly, Enchant is just good at taking tier 1 towers. Take the tier 1 towers. And finally is Zeus. Honestly, I considered putting Zeus on the list over Jakiro, and the reason why is I just think this hero's broken in pubs, honestly. I'm surprised his win rate isn't like the highest in Dota right now. I think the hero is quite strong, if not OP. I think honestly people build him wrong. The fact that there's still players that don't rush shard on Zeus kind of blows my mind. Like, I honestly don't understand how there's players that still go Mana Boots Ags without a shard. Have you read the shard? I actually don't get it. And I know there's people who justify it or try to justify it. There's no justification. If you don't buy shard on Zeus, the hero sucks. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a good hero without shard. I honestly think Zeus is quite underwhelming pre-shard. He's like fine at level 1, level 2. Like at level 7 with max Q, he's decent. But like even then, just buy your shard, guys, and then buy an Aether Lens and buy an Ags. Or you can buy Mana Boots and the shard into Ags. Personally, I like the Aether Lens. I think it's just OP with the shard. You just spam your Q and do a ton of damage, and play from a far range. And if they go on you, you have your E. You're like completely unkillable. And so yeah, that's what I recommend. All right, getting to the third hero, we got Dazzle. In terms of Dazzle, this hero seems to be doing even well in the pro scene, but I really like it in pubs because I think number 1, it's a lane dominator. Even better than Jakiro and Chen, honestly. I think Dazzle of the heroes on this list is one of the best, if not the best lane dominator, besides maybe the best hero on this list. Just incredible later. Poison Touch is insane, your heal is insane, and then the biggest thing, I just made a full video on Dazzle, so if you really want to learn more about Dazzle, I kind of recommend you check out that video. But for the sake of this video, I will say that basically my biggest thing that I love about Dazzle right now is the heal amp on your grave. with maxed out Grave, if your teammate is 1 HP, which makes sense, it's Grave. If your teammate is 1 HP, heals get amped by 80%. That's crazy. That is insane. And if you pick up a Holy Locket, you heal with your Shadow Wave, you heal with your ulti, and then you heal with the Holy Locket. And it can give your teammate 800 to 1000 HP. It's crazy stuff. And you can do that multiple times in a fight, considering how low of a cooldown Grave can be, especially with the good Juju or whatever it's called. Because basically how it works is when you cast Grave and then you cast your other abilities, it lowers the cooldown of Grave, so you get another Grave. And so basically you can just button mash and you get more Graves. I think Grave is, if you cast all of your abilities, Grave's like a 12-second cooldown, which is pretty insane with how good of an ability it actually is right now. And then honestly, Dazzle's really good at clearing waves as well. And I think this is a good thing on 5s right now, the ability to clear waves. Jakiro can do it, Chen can do it, Dazzle can do it. And the reason why I think it's good is there's just some really OP small items. I mean, small items are usually pretty OP in Dota. Like the 2000 gold items that supports by are usually, pretty strong. But I think Wraith Pact is pretty OP. Obviously, I think the main item build you should go on Dazzle is generally Holy Locket Mech or Holy Locket into like Glimmer or Holy Locket into Aether Lens. I think is fine as well, depending if they have a lot of jump or not. And you can go from there. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of really strong small items. And when that's the case, like, especially for the best hero on this list, I think that honestly is kind of the reason why this hero is so freaking strong, and we'll get there. But all right, getting into number 2 is the 4th highest win rate hero on Dota buff, and that is Warlock. This is the mega heal hero. His healing is insane. And by the way, just for a bit of a quick tip, guys, if you have a teammate or you're playing with a Warlock and he heals you, you can backpack your stat items and it heals you for way more, right? It's kind of like getting healed by IO or anything of the sort, or salves, right? Or bottling, right? You want to backpack your items. And you should do that when you're healed by Warlock, and it literally will like full heal you. It's insane. It can give you like 1000 HP if you're a pretty tanky hero, which is nuts. But on that note, they remove salves, helps Warlock be a good hero. Like, other than that, it's a little bit surprising to me how good this hero is doing. Not that I don't think it's good. I really do believe that just the ability to heal your safe laner is frankly like good enough to make a lot of these heroes strong. As I was saying, like, the heal supports are in the meta, guys. Like, they're in the meta. Even Wyvern, which is like probably the most meta pause 5 that I've seen in the tournament, has a heal, right? Which like people take at level 2. People take heal on Wyvern, so it's something to think about. Chen has a heal, Dazzle has a heal, Warlock has a heal. The last hero on this list kind of has a heal, not really, but yeah, it's just insane. And then I think Warlock with Bristleback is one of my favorite combos in the game. I think that lane is like honestly nuts. I think even in the game as a combo, it's really good because Bristle kind of just runs in, baits all the heroes to go on him. 5-man Fatal Bonds, 5-man Rock with the Quills proccing. It's insane. And then Bristle has some sustain issues in the early laning stage, and that's gone. And then Fatal Bonds with Quills is so much damage. I think this combo of heroes is nuts. And yeah, that's it for Warlock. And finally, the best position 5 in Dota right now, the hero I hate playing against the most as a position 3 player, is Dawnbreaker. Here's why. So a couple things to note about this hero. I honestly think it's slightly better as a core, I will admit, but I still think it's really good as a 5. And the reason why is it just dominates the lane like no other, and then it takes advantage of the OP items. So there's no better farming hero, honestly, than Dawnbreaker as a 5. And here's why. It's because you can TP into fights, right? You're not an initiator. You can initiate with this hero. She doesn't really have an initiating spell. Not a good one, at least. And so you kind of have to farm to make this hero viable in the mid to late game, because otherwise the hero is kind of not that great. Like, I will admit, if Dawnbreaker loses her lane, the hero can feel kind of underwhelming. So the key to being a good Dawnbreaker is spamming the hell out of mangoes. You should always buy at least 3 mangoes in the lane, probably a stick, probably a clarity. You should be buying these items, as many mana items as soon as possible, and as much as you can. Just reinvesting into the lane. You don't have to worry about greeding out early on as Dawn. You should be buying as many resources as you need, as much regen as you need for the lane. Just buy it. Do not greed. Don't buy boots. Just get your mangoes, get your stick, get your clarity, get your tangos, get your salves. Just spam these items. Dominate the lane. At level 2, you can kill heroes from half HP, sometimes more. If you have a teammate, you can kill people from full HP at level 2. So, that's pretty good. I think Dawnbreaker is also best paired with heroes that kill in the lane. Examples of this, I think, as much as I don't like this hero, I think Phantom Assassin at level 2 is pretty good. Other examples are Chaos Knight. This lane is the Giga kill lane. I think Weaver is pretty good. I think Juggernaut is solid because the Dawnbreaker actually does have quite a bit of a disable in the early laning stage. Then it is a decent disable. So I think these kill lanes are the way to go with Dawnbreaker. You can smash the lanes, you can smash the game. Even Bristleback, if you're laning with him, you can try to ask the Bristleback to take Go at level 2 and then go from there, play for the kills. And then as I was mentioning, really what I think is good about this hero is the fact that I think Vessel is in a great place. So if you need a Vessel on your team, Dawnbreaker, even as a position 5 or a position 4, but we're talking mainly about 5 here, even as a 5 can farm it. You just play the dead lane. Whatever lane your team isn't taking, whatever lane your team is furthest from, you go to, right? Just wherever your team isn't, that's where you should be. That's where you should be. If your team gets gone on, you ult the in. That's your gameplay. Just keep it simple, guys. Trust me on that. Then, if you need a Vessel on your team, buy a Vessel. If the enemy team has a Timber Saw and a Necro, and heroes with low base attack speed, right? Tiny, well, you should buy a Wraith Pact, right? Buy a Wraith Pact. Why not? It's a Vlad's, helps you farm. It's a good item, got buff recently. Wraith Pact is kind of busted and still, so you can buy that, right? So you can buy a Wraith Pact. And then, the Ags, 60% evasion, amped up heal, and then you also have Solar Guardian talents at level 15 and 20, which are quite good. But the main thing being that you can buy this axe. Against physical damage, you can make heroes completely unkillable. And I'm not just saying that. That's why I like this Bristle combo quite a bit. Even if you don't get too many kills because the Bristle might not take goo, probably won't take goo in your games, you can still zone them out, give him a good lane. And then if he gets gone on, you're just like the Giga heal guy, right? You just counter initiate the Bristleback. And so it's such a good combo. Really, really powerful combo there that I think is honestly quite strong. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learn a couple things about these heroes. And also if you disagree with any of them, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say and what you've been playing in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.